In this series of videos, I'm going to show you how to merge your story branches back into the master branch, and also how to deal with merge conflicts. So merge conflicts are one of the most complicated things that you can deal with when you're working with Git. And it's not because Git is particularly difficult to use here. It's because resolving the merge conflict actually requires a little bit of understanding of what the code is doing so that you can choose between two different versions of the code. One version that's in the master branch and one version that's in the story branch. So what I've done to illustrate this is prepared an example using the demo UI application that I've used in the previous few videos. And let me go ahead and start by checking it out. So I'm going to start with a clean copy of everything that I have in the remote repository. So let me CD somewhere convenient. I'm going to go for my users mark downloads, and then let me make dear a merge folder, and it's empty so far, so I'm going to git clone https github.com pcc cis 234a demoui.git. And then I'm going to cd into that new repository and start with git branch-a. So this shows all of the branches that are currently in the repository, and I have a master branch, and then I have 4 other branches that I've used to develop some additional features. So each of these branches was based off of the master branch in roughly the same version. And then I did the work independently in each branch the same way that you've been working in your story branches throughout the sprint. And now I want to try to merge those branches back into the master branch. So I tried to make this fairly realistic in terms of what you would see in merge conflicts. And I'm going to go ahead and start by opening that project in IntelliJ. So I have a merge folder, and I'm going to open Demo UI. And I'm going to have to make this window a little bit smaller. Okay, so now I'm on the master branch in the Demo UI project, and it's pretty much exactly what I've been demonstrating the whole time. So before this will run, I have to check my project structure because this is a new downloaded repository. I want to set the language level to 8 because that's what I've been using so far. And then in modules, let's start with the sources, make sure the source folder is blue, and it is. Then I'm going to go to dependencies, and I'm going to add jars or directories, navigate to the lib folder, and add that as a dependency. So now I should be able to open the source folder, right-click on main, run main, and here's the interface. So same drop-downs, and should look familiar from the previous videos. These buttons don't do anything. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And then the next branch I want to take a look at is the top shows branch. So git checkout top shows. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to run it. And I created this branch when I was demoing making your own branch in Git. So it's really similar to the master branch. The only difference is that I'll let it start up here. So I added this little min votes label here to the form. And then if I look at UI, main UI, I added this little bit of code here in shows that makes sure min shows is never less than 1,000. as an optimization hack. And that's really the only difference there. So that's pretty close to the master branch. Then the next branch I'm going to look at is I'll just do these alphabetically. So I'll start with all types and genres. And I'm going to go ahead and run this one now. Okay, so the difference in this one is I have the label here, and I also have all genres and all types in these combo boxes. So by default, I get all genres and all types. I can limit it to comedy. So here's all the comedies of all types. And then here are all the TV series that are comedies. And then I can go back to all genres and then get all genres. And I can go back to all types and get all types. So this one has a fairly significant development feature, and it touches mostly the user interface, but then the query that fetches the shows also has to know how to deal with all genres and all types. And then the next branch I want to look at is episode ratings, and this is probably the most extensive of the changes. So here the package structures actually changed a little bit in the UI. So in the UI package, there's now a component sub package with some stuff in it, and an infograph package that has a separate interface, which we'll see in a minute. And then the main UI form and class have been moved into a separate package to keep things organized. And so I'm going to go ahead and right click and run main. We'll see what this one does. Okay, so this one looks the same so far as the master branch, but you'll notice these buttons are grayed out. If I go ahead and click on one of these links, this little IMDb page lights up, and if I click on that, it takes me to the IMDb page for the show. If I find a TV series or a TV episode, so let me go for TV series, and I click on, for example, Cowboy Bebop, IMDb page lights up for that as well. And also this episode ratings button lights up. And if I click on that, I get a separate interface that pops up that shows me the rating for each show, along with some information like the title and season number, episode number, and so on. I can also click on that episode and get the page for that episode. So this is the Jamming with Edward episode of Cowboy Bebop. And then this is in a separate UI. So I could, for example, minimize that. I can go to Game of Thrones. Let's look at the episode ratings for Game of Thrones. It's broken out season by season. There's a regression line in here. And then let's find the highest rated episode of Game of Thrones. Let's say Reigns of Castamere. Click on that, and here's the Reigns of Castamere. So that one is a pretty extensive change. And then the last branch is this more table info. So let's go ahead and check out more table info. And close that, and then go back here. So now I'm back to the same package structure I had in the master branch. Let's go ahead and run main. So in this version, the controls are the same as the master branch. These buttons are not doing anything. But the window's been resized to show more data, and also there are more columns in the table. So in addition to, before I just had the title, start year, rating, and num votes. Now I additionally have type and runtime and genres. And if I'm looking at TV series, I get, actually that's the same thing, but if I I get number of episodes as well. So Game of Thrones had 73 episodes. If I look at something that's a TV episode, it shows me the series title for the episode, as well as the number of episodes in the series. So it's mainly this table has been changed to show additional information, and the columns that display depend on exactly what appears in the table. So those are the 4 branches that I want to merge together into the master branch, and I'll start doing that in the next video.